Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I've got something fun to share with you. This is a collaboration between Kim Dello, Sharon Curtis and myself, and we're going to do one stamp set in 3 different ways. So the stamp set we're using today is the Eclectica stamp set. This is the 3rd edition from Kim Dello for Paper Artsy. And I'm going to be using this floral image here. So I'm going to be using my Misty just because it's a fairly large image. So I've got some smooth white cardstock and then I'm just placing the stamp down where I want it. And then I can pick it up with the Misty Door. So then I'm going to stamp it with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm going to be using Copic markers, so I want an ink that's not going to bleed with the Copic markers. Just ink that out really well and then I can press down. These stamps give a really good impression, so no need to kind of stamp it twice, but the Misty's there if I needed it. I'm then taking the largest of the stitched square dies from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm just going to run that through my Cuttlebug. So just running that through so that I can make a panel. And I'm just going to carefully remove that tape and then the die. So now I'm going to colour in with some Copic markers and I'm going to be doing like an ombre effect on the background. So I'm going in with my darkest colour. This is B04. I don't always tend to go that dark with a background, like a sky background, but I wanted to make it quite ombre-like. So just adding that all across the bottom. I tend to find holding the piece upside down helps for some reason. I'm now going in with my next kind of lightest, I should say. This is the B02. So I'm going over where I've already gone over with the B04. And I'm just going to blend that upwards. So I do find that you do have to go over like a background like this quite a few times. Well, that's what I personally find with the cardstock I'm using. Just to get a really nice smooth blend. So I'm not too concerned at this point because I know I'm going to go over it quite a few other times. So that's the B02. I'm now going in with the B01 and just extending that colour further up. I'm not too concerned with going over the kind of image itself. These colours are fairly light, at least the ones sort of going on further are fairly light, and I can probably cover that over with the other Copic markers that I'm using to colour in the leaves and things. So again, going over exactly already what I've coloured in with the darkest shades. And now this is the B00, again just extending that colour further up and going over the whole entire piece again. By the time you get to the last colour, I have found that they've all kind of blended together. And it does make the cardstock quite wet, obviously because I've used so many colours and gone over it so many times. So I do have to leave it to dry a little bit before I go on to the next different colours. So this is the B000. And then I'm going to go in my lightest colour, which is the B000. I found that my marker was a little bit on the dry side, so I'm using, instead of going and filling it up, which I should do, I went in with the chisel tip end. I have to say I don't use this tip that often, but it is quite good for backgrounds, and obviously you cover a large area a lot quicker. So just using that to go over the entire piece again, and then just right at the bottom I did go back in with the B00 just to add in a little bit more colour at the bottom. So now I'm going to work on the leaves, but I did find that I wanted just to extend those stems a little bit further, so I went in with a Copic multiliner and just drew those in. And now I'm going in with my shades of green, and I will have links to all of the colours that I'm using over on my blog. So here I wasn't sure which colours I wanted to colour in the flowers, so I stamped them out on a separate piece of cardstock and just lightly coloured them in just so that I could see what the colours were that I thought I might want to use. And it's quite a good way of seeing what colours you want to use before you actually use them on your project and then find out you don't actually like them. So I did that, and obviously as you can see I'm using shades of yellow there, and then for the middle flower I'm using shades of purple. I thought that the colours complemented each other quite well. So again, just going in with the darkest colours at the bottom and then working my way up to the lightest ones. And then just using some lighter colours for those portions in the middle of the flower. So I set that aside to dry, and then I'm going to work on the sentiment here. This is the Many Messages set from Clearly Besotted. And I'm just inking up that Get Well Soon sentiment, and then I'm going to stamp that onto some more white cardstock. And then I can cut that out. So these are the 2 panels that they've dried, well, the Copic one has dried. And then I'm just adding a lot of foam tape, as you can see, onto the back of that, and a little bit onto the sentiment strip there as well. I can remove the backings of the foam tape, and then I can place that onto a 5" by 5" square card base. And then I've got the sentiment piece there, and I'm just going to add that onto the bottom. And I find that tweezers help with that. So here I've got my Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen. This is the clear version. Just adding that onto those inside portions of the flowers, and then I'm going to go in with some glossy accents, just to give a little bit of extra kind of design onto the card. So I've got a fine tip nozzle on the end of my glossy accents, and I find it a lot easier to use with that tip. So I did the inside portions of those flowers, and then I decided, should I add on to the little dots at the top as well? And I did decide I would add some glossy accents onto those dots. So just adding that on there. And that's the card finished for today. I will have links to Kim Dello and Sharon Curtis in the description bar on YouTube, and also on my blog, so you can go over and see what they have done as well. And links to all the products that I've used will be in the description bar as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.